Coming up this week, off screen.
We go to an office Christmas party.
Life gets animated.
A nation gets born.
A past gets debated.
We clear up some jet trash.
Max Records claims he's not a serial killer.
And Nicolas Cage and some other bloke named of Joseph Gordon-Levitt tells us the story of Snowden.
All those to come and more, off screen.
This is Off Screen. Off Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Off Screen, I'm Van Connor.
My name is Kase Allen.
I love how you say it so authoritative. My name is Michael Caine.
You expected Michael Caine, weren't you?
You really are. My name is Maurice Micklewhite. So, before we get to the film news, before we get to the film reviews, before we get to the box office top 10, let's start actually with a bit of news. What have you got for me, Mr. Allen? Let's have something in the way of the news. What's the biggie this week?
Jimmy Kimmel will host the Oscars.
I heard this.
This is the big news. I think this is the big news of the week.
And you've lost out on money again because you predicted this.
And
you didn't bet. Why do you not put money down on these things?
I don't know. Apparently, I am the Nostradamus of film.
It seems
it is. Yeah, I literally said it the night before it was announced to my wife. I said, I bet you with Jimmy Kimmel. And I had reasoning behind it as well. For one thing, Golden Globes have just employed Jimmy Fallon, so I feel like there's like a competing Jimmys.
You've got to have one of the Jimmys.
You've got to have one of the Jimmys at least.
Yeah.
And also, ABC have just renegotiated that they will be telecasting the Oscars. And of course, ABC is their go-to guy, their go-to host. So, kind of makes sense. But, do you know what? I think he'll be good. I honestly think he'll be good.
I think he's got something. There's an unchallenging nature to Jimmy Kimmel, I think.
I think so, but in late, he's had a bit of an edge to him as well.
I'd have liked Trevor Noah.
I think Trevor Noah will get it.
I think eventually.
But it'll be James Corden first.
James Corden, shoe into the Oscars.
Because James Corden's doing the Grammys, and I feel like that's just like a natural progression, isn't it?
It's kind of just an obvious one to get James Corden to the Grammys.
It is, but I think he'll be good, and I also think Jimmy Kimmel will be good. And if anything else, there'll be some jokes at Matt Damon's expense. So
yes, yeah, that will definitely be the case. Yeah. So, let's do our first review of the week. Then we'll get this out of the way.
We've got a Christmas film.
We've got a Christmas film because we haven't had any of those recently, other than that sequel. That sequel comes up. That sequel comes up a lot in discussion about Office Christmas Party, which is obviously our first film of the week. This is the latest from the directors of The Switch. Will Speck and Josh, I forget his name offhand, you have to find that out for me.
To IMDb I go.
To IMDb you may go. Josh something and Will Speck. They directed Blades of Glory. They directed
I like Blades of Glory, it was alright.
I like Blades of Glory. I think it's something of a classic of its subgenre of Will Ferrell does a different topical thing every week. I've got a bit of news actually, film news.
Is it a Will Ferrell sports comedy news?
It is a Will Ferrell sports comedy.
We'll get to that later.
He's doing esports, but there's nothing really more to say than that. We just know that there is one, and he's doing esports.
That's the news. That's it.
That's it. That's the news.
That's the news.
But for now, from the makers of Will Ferrell Does Figure Skating, we have Office Christmas Party, in which, stop me if you've heard this before, it is the run-up to Christmas. You've got a company. It's run by a bit of a slacker whose dad died and left him the office. He's got a corporate...
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, he's got a corporate hotshot sister who's a bit of a ball breaker, a bit of a hard ass. And she shows up and says, you're not allowed to do Christmas parties. By the way, I'm going to shut down the company because it's not making enough money. And he decides, we've got this one client whose business could save the company. But it turns out that he doesn't quite get... he doesn't understand us based on our meeting. So we have to invite him to the Christmas party and dazzle him and wow him on a personal level. And so what they have to do then is set up a secret clandestine Christmas party in which they invite the big client, who's played by Courtney B. Vance. Obviously, the head of the company is T.J. Miller. The pithy boss is the corporate hotshot type sister is Jennifer Aniston, and the put upon straight man in the middle of all this is guess who?
Is it Jason Bateman?
It is Jason Bateman.
He plays that or Fox.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And of course, enter a series of wacky consequences which conspire to basically turn this otherwise, mundane office Christmas party into the concept for Project X. So you've got a brick of cocaine that accidentally finds its way into the snow machine. You've got a deranged pimp played by Gillian Bell. You've got...
nice.
as you do. You've got all these elements. Oh, and you've you've got Jennifer Aniston herself sort of, uncovering the existence of the party. I tell you what, we've got a clip in which they set up the whole "we need to save the company" riff. Here you go.
Dad gave you a free pass your entire life, and you're not getting one from me. The only way you're going to hit your targets this year is by cutting jobs.
Hey, what if we landed the Data City account?
Data City? Walter Davis?
That's right.
You do know that he's already met with HP, Cisco, and Oracle.
Yeah, but he hasn't heard our pitch.
No.
Josh and I have been drilling into it for weeks.
No, months. Whole team. And we have a meeting with him this afternoon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm on a flight to London tonight, so if by some miracle you guys can close Walter Davis and his $14 million contract by the time I land in Heathrow, the jobs are safe.
Done. And you'll see, you're gonna look so stupid.
Then we'll finally have something in common.
Here's the defining issue with... Well, not the defining issue. Here is the ultimate, in a nutshell, encapsulation of Office Christmas Party.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. Think of it as a Christmas dinner. Right? You know what's coming. You know everything that's going to be on that plate. You know how everything's going to taste. You know every step of the 40-minute process of eating this Christmas dinner.
Were you satisfied with the meal?
You were satisfied with it,
Yep.
but you weren't surprised by it in any way because it's the same as it was last year. It's the same as it was the year before. That is Office Christmas Party, and by that I mean you've seen Jason Bateman do this role. Yeah. You've seen Jennifer Aniston do that role. You've seen TJ
Sometimes
Miller.
in the same film.
It's in the same film because they've been in 3 films together now.
I think they've been in 4.
Jennifer Aniston and Jason Bateman have done The Switch, both Horrible Bosses movies.
And this, the 4.
And the 4th, this is the 4th, yeah. So we've seen them do this. We've seen them have this chemistry before. We've seen TJ Miller do this role. TJ Miller does this role on telly now. You know,
Silicon Valley, yeah,
he
of course.
Ulrich Bockman, I think his name is. You've seen Gillian Bell do this role. You've seen, I forget the name of the actor, but he's the put-upon assistant, the sort of dweeby assistant from Blunt Talk. And
what's his name?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
You've seen him do that role. Randall Park, you've seen play this role.
Rob Corddry is in it.
Rob Corddry played this role.
Yeah.
You've seen every single bit. I mean, every single bit of this you have seen done to death by the same people. So, there's no surprise to it. In fact, the biggest surprise is they've gotten Kate McKinnon to play slightly out of her type. So rather than be kooky and cool, she's actually kind of nerdy and suburban.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's the only bit of casting inversion. You only needed to switch the roles that Jennifer Aniston and Gillian Bell play, and you could have had something genuinely impressive.
Just a bit of a switch, yeah.
Exactly. Gillian Bell as the sort of competitive sister to TJ Miller, that could work.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston as an angry sheep imp. Fine, that would actually be quite good as well. The problem is, you've seen both.
She's going to be in a
before.
film called Angry Sheep Imp. You forget this. It's going to be a franchise.
Angry Sheep Imp is the ultimate franchise, the ultimate workaholic spin-off, I think. But the problem is, it feels like they just couldn't be bothered to do anything with it. Rather than go out and give us a story that... Imagine this. Just imagine for 1 second, you've got a 90-minute R-rated Hollywood Christmas comedy called Office Christmas Party that takes place at the Office Christmas Party, and all you've got is a bunch of disconnected storylines that just happen to be taking place at the same thing. It's what you wish the secret...
That's what you get.
That's what you want.
Oh,
what you get is...
That's what you get.
No, that's what you want. What you get is, we're going to save the company by wowing this client, but we've accidentally gotten him high, and that someone's gotten drunk and played with the photocopier, and this character loves this one, but they've never admitted it to him.
Right, so you need those the separate storylines, and then...
in the way that you wish The Secret Life of Pets had been a vignette movie. You wish,
absolutely, This
needed to be Can't Hardly Wait, the R-rated Christmas version.
This could have had, the 3 guys from Workaholics being, the pranksters, and they're planning some big prank.
That's it. It just could have been the R-rated Christmas take on Can't Hardly Wait. But rather than have that level of ambition, what they've done is they've allowed the crushing weight of convention and the need to have this ABC worn, done-to-death narrative.
Sadly, I think it's just me, you, and Cassie that remember the 90s classic that is Can't Hardly Wait.
And the best part is, if you watch that movie now, how many stars are in that movie?
Oh, so many.
Well, not stars, but people
but
you love.
Seth Greens.
But Seth Green, Donny Faison. Donny Faison.
Donny Faison.
Yeah, Melissa Joan Hart turns up in it as well. Jennifer Love Hewitt. I'm trying to think who else was in that. Peter Facinelli is in there.
Is Ethan Embry in that?
Ethan Embry.
He's not the lead guy, isn't he?
Oh, is it not Sean Patrick... Sean Patrick Thomas or Sean Patrick Flannery? I can never remember.
Thomas, I believe.
Thomas.
Yeah.
I can never remember. One of them is Powder and the other one is in Cruel Intentions. That's all I remember. But no, you will laugh at Office Christmas Party. You'll laugh at it. there's no way around this. It is funny on a very basic level. But it's funny through repetition. It's funny through familiarity. You will laugh, and you will laugh a fair few times, but you won't laugh hard, and you won't laugh hard even once. And that's a problem. It's not a lump of coal. It's just a really thoughtless gift. If you can imagine that. You know that thing of, you shouldn't have. I wish you didn't.
Can you just have some mulled wine and just be like, it's a Christmas film. At least we're getting a Christmas film. Because I hate the years when we don't have any Christmas films at all, good or bad.
I mean, I'd say, like, we had it better last year when we had...
The night before.
Yeah. We had it better with the night before. And I didn't think much of that when I first saw it.
No, I was let down by it. I liked it. It's fine.
Have you rewatched it since, by the way?
No, but I'm going to be doing it very soon.
Yeah, do it. It's a lot better the second time around. A year on, it's a lot better.
Because I said that about Krampus. I liked Krampus.
I've yet to rewatch Krampus.
When I saw it last week for the second time, I thought it was great.
I'm looking forward to seeing Krampus again.
It works better at home for some reason. Some films are like that.
Biggest compliment I can give Office Christmas Party. I mean, it's a nuts and bolts. It's by the numbers. It's everybody doing what you know they can do, even though they really don't seem bothered that they're doing it. The biggest compliment I can really give it, other than I laughed a few times, is it's better than Bad Santa. So, beating Bad Santa 2, though, that really is a low bar.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back. So, give me some film news to start.
I'll give you some more. Okay, here's a question for you. Who is your favourite Harvey Dent?
My favourite Harvey Dent. Was it Powers Booth who voiced him in Batman the Animated Series? I feel like it was.
Ah, fair enough. Well, this is a backfire because Billy D. Williams will be Harvey Dent in the Lego Batman movie.
I feel like we should have had the Colt 45 advert queued up to play.
Yeah, maybe. Or just like a soundbite of, hello, what have we here?
But he's going to do it again for the Lego Batman movie, isn't he?
So of course he wasn't Two-Face, but he was Harvey Dent in Tim Burton's first Batman film.
He was planned to come back in the third one, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's the whole reason why he signed up. He signed up because it was kind of assumed that he was going to turn into Two-Face in a future project. That never came to pass, much to the chagrin of everyone.
Actually, if you think about it, one of the earliest examples of race bending in superhero cinema.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and no one cared. No one cared back then.
We're just like...
We didn't have the internet, you see, back then.
And maybe because Harvey Dent wasn't such a massive character in that film.
Well, it's true, I suppose. He was kind of a background character. You might not have noticed he was in it. But,
yeah, like if he was the Harvey Dent that's in The Dark Knight, potentially.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy. Billy D's getting his shot. That's great.
He is getting his shot. I think he's going to be great at doing it. And, I mean, I cannot wait for Lego Batman.
No, I can't either. It's I'm even sold on Michael Cera as Robin, because I think they're playing it well.
I'm sold on every part of the casting, up to and including Mariah Carey as a mayor.
Oh, good God.
I know.
Right, shall we finish the top... Well, start the top 10.
Let's begin it before we even finish it.
Number 10.
Bleed for this.
Which is just... Panto Creed is the best way to call it. If you thought Creed was cartoonish, I promise you it's got nothing on
Oh,
Creed
no, it's not.
Yes, it is, guys. It's everything about it is just this weird cartoonish thing where everyone's under the monster-style makeup effects and fat suits, putting on a silly accent, because he's from Philly. And, I watched it thinking, I don't care at all. It's lazily directed. It's poorly written. It is performed by people that think that putting on a silly cartoon voice and just not skipping leg day is the definition of acting craft. And frankly, your story's boring and predictable. If it weren't for the fact that it was a true story, no one would have looked twice at this. Let's move on.
Number 9.
The Edge of 17.
Which I loved. I loved this. It was like the opposite of Bleed for this. This I actually loved. And Haley Steinfeld's a star, and Woody Harrelson's amazing, and he threatens to steal every scene, but Steinfeld's so good that she doesn't let him. They have great chemistry, though. I liked a lot of things about it. I love the soundtrack. I love the design of it. Kelly Fremont Craig, I think, did an amazing job writing and directing this. It's something that it has replaced The Duff for me as my favourite teen girl movie of the last 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So that's it. I mean, I love Mae Whitman in The Duff. I think it's a great movie.
That was a great film.
It really was, wasn't it? But and The Duff did have Ken Jeong. This movie doesn't have Ken Jeong, so there's that working against it.
Sorry, Dr. Ken.
Sorry, Dr. Ken. But if you like Mean Girls, The To-Do List, or The Duff, you need to go and see The Edge of 17. It's seriously great.
Number 8.
Bad Santa the Second.
Bad Santa the Second, which is basically Bad Santa the First again, but with all the edge filed off. Basically, they've filed all the edge away, and they've gone Hollywood with it.
Yeah.
And that's not what made... The thing about Bad Santa was it was basically this nasty indie film, and it felt like it all the way through.
And Lauren Graham was in it.
And I had Lauren Graham, but it did have that indie feel, didn't it? Because it was produced by the Coen brothers. And they...
Yeah, that's often forgotten about.
Well, they produced it as something they wanted to direct. And then apparently they couldn't do it, and they got... is it Ed Zwick did it, I think, didn't he?
Is it
Eddie Zwick or...
Zwick flick.
Or Terry Zwigoff, I can't remember.
I don't think it's Ed Zwick, because I feel like I would remember
or
that.
Zwigoff. It's one of the two. But they passed it over in the end. They set in as producers, and they produced this great indie film. What you've now got is the indie film was successful. Zwigoff, sorry. But you can see why I get confused. They're both Zwi. They're both Zwi or Zwi. They're Zwi, you know.
Zwi.
You can see why I'd get confused, you know what I mean? So, but no, all the edges filed away. It's just not as edgy. It's not as funny. It's not as crass. It's not quite as grim and dark. And at the same time as well, it doesn't have the heart.
Gotta have a heart.
You gotta have the heart.
You've gotta have the pie. The pie's your heart.
Exactly.
Number 7.
Trolls.
Trolls.
In the dungeon.
It's been going a while. Is it 7 weeks or something now?
It is indeed 7 weeks.
Well, he's gotten a Grammy nomination, hasn't he? Justin Timberlake's gotten a Grammy nomination for his song in Trolls.
That makes sense.
Can't Stop the Feeling, I want to say. Offhand, I can't remember.
Yes, it is, yeah.
But, which is a song that sticks with you after the film. But this is the thing, it's a film that wears you down because it's so sugary and so glossy and so bright and colourful and cheerful and happy that you think, I've lost any cynicism or indeed the will to live having sat through this. I am worn down. I will just skip merrily back to my car and go home. And that's the feeling you have. You think, okay, well, you know what? It's a Trolls movie. It did its job. The kids enjoyed it. The parents were kind of worn down to the degree of enjoying it. Yeah. So it obviously works. I think it's gonna have a huge shelf life on DVD when they start marketing it with like little Trolls dolls and everything.
Absolutely, and I'm sure we'll get a Trolls 2.
Oh, and
the poster will be like Justin Timberlake's troll holding up 2 fingers.
Oh, of course. There's an obvious franchise in this.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Arrival,
which I love. You've not?
I'm seeing it on Saturday.
Oh, I can't wait for this
because I have nothing to do on Saturday for the first time in 2 months.
Well, I'm looking forward to when you've seen this because I can't wait to hear the response.
There is, I mean, I probably shouldn't be saying this now, but there is a space reserved for it in my top of the year, and I've not even seen it.
You're hoping you get to film it because otherwise it's going to be a domino thing where you file everything forward one. Yeah, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. I don't
think I will.
But and this is the thing, it is a it's classical cerebral science fiction. It's the kind of thing that harkens back to, I think, old Hollywood not old Hollywood, but New Age, the Hollywood. What do you call it? The New Age, the Golden Age, the Renaissance. The New Romantics, I can't remember. The Lucas and Spielberg era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is the more thoughtful end of what they were doing in sort of the 70s.
I mean, obviously, not seen it, but starting seeing it, it seems like it has more of a Close Encounters vibe.
Very much, and it does owe a debt to Close Encounters. I mean, it owes, stylistically and conceptually, it owes more of a debt to Contact and Sphere, but it obviously is something that works more to the terrain of Close Encounters as well, and it does owe a debt to that, but it is the militarized, hardcore, tech-friendly answer to that, which in 2016 is the film you have to make. Yeah. And you know what? It ticks every box. It succeeds immeasurably. It has great performances at its centre, and you get Forrest Whitaker doing his best Tommy Lee Jones impression, and that's always a good thing.
Always not to love.
Exactly. Is that the end of we're done with the top 10 for now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we are.
So give us a bit of film news, and then I'll review I'm Not a Serial Killer.
Just a little bit. Okay, here is some news. I was just like, what? And then it kind of makes sense once you think about it.
What do you got?
So, Sony are going to be doing a live-action Barbie film.
Okay, I have heard this.
Yeah, you have heard this news. Everyone's heard this news. Mm-hmm. Barbie is going... I think that Barbie's going to be played by Amy Schumer.
She is.
Because some places said that she is going to be Barbie, and other places said that she is going to be Barbie's friend.
No.
I think she is going to be Barbie.
No, I've heard the pitch for this.
Yeah.
Right, the idea is that Amy Schumer is Barbie. Yeah. She lives in Barbie World, which is like... and this movie's going to be like Enchanted style. But the idea is...
See, I like that.
Yeah, in Barbie World... She's a freak. She doesn't fit the Stepford wife norm. She doesn't fit the size 0 aesthetic, for instance, with the coiffed hair and all that. This is the idea. And that Amy Schumer's Barbie finds a way into our world, where the fact that she's got a personality, for one thing, or to be more specific, has Amy Schumer's personality, makes her something special.
See, I really like the idea of that.
Yeah, that is basically kind of a reverse Enchanted in a weird way.
And I do see Amy Schumer's appeal. For me, I don't.
You're not a fan?
I'm not on the train. I'm not on the train right.
I'm going to be really honest.
I would prefer Gillian Bell. I prefer Gillian Bell to be...
Possibly, but the first 5 minutes of Trainwreck genuinely made me fall in love with Amy Schumer. I'm a big fan. I'm a very big fan of her.
I liked it up until the prerequisite Game of Thrones reference.
Oh, no, that was within those first 5 minutes. I overlooked that because the humour of everything else in that scene just kind of did it for me.
Okay, tell me about I'm Not a Serial Killer. Because you told me a little bit on the phone the other day.
I did tell you a little bit.
Like, what?
Well, I didn't think you noticed because we got confirmed during that phone call for Rogue One. I thought you were too
I was in a bit of a
excited.
Rogue One coma.
You're like, oh my
Rogue
god, we got a Rogue One. Yeah. But yeah, so okay, I Am Not a Serial Killer, which it stars Max Records. Do you remember the little boy from Where the Wild Things Are?
I certainly do.
This is an Irish-British co-production that is set and filmed in the US, takes place in the US. It stars Max Records as the young son of a small town mortician. The mortician is actually played by Laura Fraser from what's she? I mean, Breaking Bad and that virtual reality sex bot movie that she did years ago. I don't even remember that virtual reality sex bot movie. What was it called? Might be called Virtual Sexuality or something like that.
But not virtuality sex bot film.
No, not that one.
Number 5.
But right, okay. So I will find out what Laura Fraser is known for at some point. Please, in fact, you have IMDb. Please look it up. Right. The idea is then our young lead, who is the sort of outcast of this town. He's the mortician's son, so he's picked on at school. He begins to take an active interest in a series of local killings, which seem to be the emergence of a serial killer, and he's convinced he's found the culprit, who's none other than, wouldn't you believe it, Christopher Lloyd.
Doc Brown himself.
But there is more to this man than anyone suspects, and very soon he finds himself facing off against a force from another world entirely. Here's a clip.
This is a party for normal people, right? So why don't you go home to your undertaking of a mother, alright? What are you smiling about?
I've been clinically diagnosed with sociopathy, Rob. To me, you're an object. You're a thing. You're about as important to me as a cardboard box. And the thing about cardboard boxes is that, they're totally boring on the outside, right? But sometimes if you cut them open, there'll be something interesting inside. And so while you're saying all these boring things to me, I'm thinking about what it'd be like to cut you open.
Max Records there with his own take on being a sociopath. It was virtual sexuality. We were right.
Yes,
okay.
Confirmed.
The sex bot, incidentally, is played by Rupert Penry Jones.
Really?
Yeah. A very young, platinum blonde Rupert Penry Jones. I'll be real quick on this one. I mean, for one thing, the film is tremendous. It is genuinely tremendous. Imagine, if you will, a cinematic answer to Stranger Things.
That's good.
I know. It has its roots in the heyday of the 80s small town Joe Dante type movie. It's a little creepier. It veers more towards horror, but it's black. It's black-hearted. It's comedic. It is deep, sensitive, thoughtful. I really genuinely love it. It's written and directed by Billy O'Brien, who brought us, what was it called now? Isolation, remember that? About 10 years ago?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Also, The Hybrid, quite recently. But I really loved it. I love the star. I think Christopher Lloyd he's your big name star, I think, in this, but it's very much a sort of added value element. Max Records is the one to watch. As you might have gotten from the clip, he's really something to behold here, but it's down to sharp writing. It's down to stylization. It's a film that is definitely going to find arguably its biggest fans in the Stranger Things audience. If Stranger Things pitches itself towards let's be nostalgic about childhood years, this pitches itself towards let's be nostalgic about those teen years that follow that. If you genuinely, if we'd gone through 3 seasons of Stranger Things, and then they'd done a film spin-off and given us this, you wouldn't have been surprised. And for me, I'm saying that in a very complimentary way.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen.
My wingman anytime.
And we're back, and well, we're all wingmen here. So let's look then at your boy's back case. Sir Nicholas of Cage.
In what I believe is a lead role, but because he is such a gentleman, he's only in it for 3 scenes.
That's exactly how it works. Nicholas Cage, of course, was the lead, but thought, do you know what? I'm going to be charitable. I'm going to give this young JGL fellow some time to shine.
Yeah. I know nobody's heard of him. I don't think he's got his own video company or TV show or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Snowden, which is of course the Oliver Stone directed version of the story of Edward Snowden.
Yeah, I feel like nobody better could make this.
That's the thing, because it feels so predictable, doesn't it? Oh yeah, Oliver Stone will do that story. You could have predicted it when it happened.
Yeah, it's like if there's ever going to be a Donald Trump film, he's your guy.
Oh, God, yeah, totally. And Gary Busey, of course, will be Donald Trump because he's increasingly that age. Right, so Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays Edward Snowden here, and we've got an all-star cast around him. So you've got Nicolas Cage, you've got Rhys Ifans, you've got Shailene Woodley. You've got a hell of a cast going on there. And, of course, it all comes by way of Oliver Stone, who has never shied away from a political topic in his life. The story, of course, chronicles Edward Snowden's, basically his early career, how he was sort of drummed out of the army due to an injury, how he went into intelligence work, and how he eventually got drafted into the program that was using PRISM in the name of protecting the US. The film largely takes place in flashback. In the present day, you've got him in the hotel. You've basically got the events of Citizen 4, the documentary Citizen 4. That's your present day. So he's in the hotel room, he's talking to the reporters, one of whom is Zachary Quinto, and he is in flashback telling us the story of how he, came across PRISM and why he is now leaking it to the world, why he is blowing the whistle. We have a clip.
You got a little Snow White in you. Which makes me feel like the witch bringing you a poison apple. Here.
Exhibit A. Oakland resident Justin Pinsky posted on a message board. Romania has a storied history of executing their leaders. Couldn't they do us a solid and take out Bush? Oh, this looks juicy. This is from a G-chat.
With the biggest python you've ever seen.
How is this all possible? Keyword selectors. Attack, take out, Bush. So think of it as a Google search, except instead of searching only what people make public, we're also looking at everything they don't. So emails, chats, SMS, whatever.
Yeah, but which people?
The whole kingdom, Snow White.
Right, so true to form, Oliver Stone handling this story proves to be an absolutely brilliant idea. Now, his cast across the board are terrific. There's a couple of things that stand out. First of all, Rhys Ifans as the CIA mentor figure, the hard-ass version of the CIA mentor figure. You've got Nicolas Cage as the good one. He's your white hat, and you've got Rhys Ifans as the black hat. Rhys Ifans plays it weirdly as if he's taken Willem Dafoe's role from him. So he's playing it in full of Willem Dafoe mode. And then you've got Nicolas Cage, who's putting in about the most sympathetic, most normal performance he's done in years.
It's quite strange to see him in a film like this nowadays.
It is, but I think it harkens back to him actually just having a relationship with Oliver Stone that goes back to World Trade Center. As far as Oliver Stone goes, it's the best film he's produced in 15 years, I'd say, at a pinch.
A while, yeah. He's been on something of a downward
spiral for a while now.
Savages and
it's just
Wall
never
Street
quite
2,
worked
Money
out,
Never Sleeps.
Yeah, but the audience did. And right, let me just reel off this cast to you, and this is an idea of what sort of level you're working at. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, great. Even does the voice. He's even got the Edward Snowden voice. You know, that voice.
Yeah,
that booming deep voice.
I saw a still of the film, and he did actually look a lot like him.
He's got the posture.
Yeah.
He's got everything that made Edward Snowden such a present. He's got that. Shailene Woodley is the love interest, who basically gets to be the sort of voice of reason and all. Melissa Leo, Zachary Quinto, Rhys Ifans, as I say, Parker Sawyers, the guy who played Obama recently, Nicolas Cage, Tom Wilkinson, Jolie Richardson, Timothy Olyfantastic is in here.
Fantastic's in that film.
Olyfantastic is in here. You've got what's his name? Scott Eastwood has a small role in this
because it's 2016.
So
if it's a small film, I'll get Scott Eastwood.
Exactly. Ben Chaplin turns up in this. It is just a who's who. And would you believe it? Even Edward Snowden himself turns up in this
Little cameo.
Well, actually, it does kind of bookend it as if Oliver Stone has intended his film as a chronicle, as a monument to the man and what he achieved. Now, the biggest problem with Snowden is not that it's a bad film. In fact, it's very good. The biggest problem is, from minute one, it is geared around the idea of kind of legendizing Edward Snowden. It's based around the idea of this man is a hero and he should be celebrated thusly. They've tried to add clear fictionalization to the actual way in which, for instance, he obtained the information that he would go on to leak. And they've added elements to it which quite clearly have come from, the mind of a writer who's just inventing things. There's a whole element where they've added a secondary character to help him. You're like, no, I've seen Citizen 4. This didn't happen. I've heard Edward Snowden himself tell me that this is not how it happened.
Yeah.
And, right, it's a film, its attention to detail is phenomenal. Like, genuinely phenomenal. It's a story I've always been fascinated with. So the stuff about metadata and things, you have to get right. And they've nailed all of that. It's incredibly sharply written. The problem is, Oliver Stone's visible love for Edward Snowden is something that you can't help but feel permeates the film throughout. Having said that, it is very good. It's a very, very good drama. It's very gripping.
It's good to have him back.
It is. It's good. I wouldn't say he's back on fine form, but he's back on something close to a form.
At least it's a bit of an uptick.
It's as close as we're getting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Give me some news then before we finish the top 10.
Give a little bit of news.
Go on,
I'll give you some news about... Well, I'll tell you what. I'll do one of my two pieces of movie bad guy news.
I like movie bad guy news.
So, first one.
Go on.
Walton Goggins were playing the villain in the new Tomb Raider film.
This is the bit, before we started, this is the bit I was going to tell you. Yeah, Walton Goggins is the Tomb Raider villain, which is great.
Yeah, it's great. It's probably it will be his most high-profile role, I would think.
He really needs one, doesn't he? He's been...
I don't know. I just feel like he's been going up. Like, he's just been like a well-respected character actor for quite a long time.
Well, he's been quiet since The Hateful Eight. And there's a lot of people...
that was January.
Well, that's what I mean, but he's not been casting anything since The Hateful Eight.
No, he has. He's been doing the TV show, Vice Principals.
Oh, there you go.
So he's had that. So let him have a summer with Daniel Bride. God. But this will be good. And I hope it's not just like when William Fichtner is the bad guy in Turtles.
Yeah.
'Cause I wanted that to be great, and it just really wasn't.
I don't know. I actually think Walton Goggins seems to have very good taste in projects. Like, he only takes a certain kind of role. He only takes a role that gives him something to chew, something to really bite down on.
Yeah.
And
this could be good.
This could be.
This could be good, yeah.
Walton Goggins is the villain. Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft. Raw Uthog. Raw Uthog.
I feel like we should,
directing.
after we say that name, like some like metal plays.
I feel...
Raw Uthog.
Okay, in the run-up to Tomb Raider, we're going to do that. We're going to have a Raw Uthog button.
Raw Uthog theme.
I feel like his name should be spoken. You see that episode of Blackadder in which the prince teams up with the actors to deliver a speech, and he does the roar.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you should say Raw Uthog's name.
Yeah.
But the director of The Wave, the phenomenal director of The Phenomenal Wave.
That was a good film.
Yeah, it really was, wasn't
it? The new Lara Croft, whatever it's going to be called, March 2018.
Nice. Should we finish the top 10 then? We'll have some more villain news later.
Why the heck not?
Number 5.
Pitbull, which I'm being told is not about Mr. Worldwide.
No.
It's something else.
I have no idea what this is. It's some kind of musical performance thing, but it's not been press shown, so it'll need
is it actually about... Is it actually about Mr. Worldwide himself?
I don't know. It wasn't press shown. I have no idea what this is.
I want to find out about it.
I think you should find out, because for all I know, this is actually Pitbull going and performing in... It look like it's Polish, that.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think that it was...
I think it is. It might actually be Pitbull has done a concert in Poland, which...
And then given it a Polish title.
Stranger things have happened.
And it's number 5.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't name one song by Pitbull.
He did that song with... Kesha?
Didn't he
Timber.
do one?
Timber, isn't it? Timber?
Oh, is that him? Didn't he do the theme song to Men in Black 3? I want to say. I can't remember what that song was.
Yeah, he was standing Will Smith, because Will Smith
has stopped
couldn't even do Will Smith.
Why does Collateral not have a Will Smith theme song? Come on, people.
Yeah, and he's Will Smith just going, woohoo!
I'm just going to put it out there, okay? Will Smith's films are not doing as well as they used to. Coincidentally, he doesn't do the theme songs
He needs
anymore.
to do his good guy rap.
Right? I'm just saying, if Will Smith went back to doing his theme songs, maybe his films would be good again. Just putting it out there.
Number 4.
Allied.
Which is half a great movie and half a really lazy thing that you kind of wish you weren't watching. Performances are fine. The problem is the writing, which kind of gives up halfway through and just becomes it basically shelves its best assets. It shelves Marion Cotillard. It gives up its travelogue, adventure, spy idea for something far more generic. And in the end, you come away thinking, well, at least it had Jared Harris to spice things up.
Number 3.
Sully. I'm not going to save a subtitle. I feel insulted that we've given us a subtitle.
Yeah, why does it need one? Were people?
It's like Tomorrowland all over again,
It's
isn't
like
it?
they were
Just let us have
worried.
the one word. It's
Like they
cleaner.
were worried about people assuming it was a Monsters Inc.
It's like the
spin-off.
Facebook. Just drop the the. Just Facebook. It's
Drop
cleaner.
the simplify it.
Yeah.
But you saw this. You're a bigger fan than I was, I think, of it. But
I didn't love it. I thought it was okay.
I didn't love it, but I think it was quite televisual. It was.
Yeah, I don't think that's a terrible thing. Where it needed to be cinematic, it was cinematic.
It needed to be cinematic. The problem is, I don't think there's not enough
flight.
material. There's not enough
it's not
material
flight.
to make a film out of this, I don't think. This is masterpiece theatre. This is a small slice of theatre at best, and it's not a film. It's a great story and everything. Like, no one can take that away from it. It's a great story. It's not a film, though. It's not something we think, because there's not enough going on there for it to be a real story.
Yeah, it could have been a good sort of like standalone 50-minute Showtime thing where it focuses just in that makeshift courtroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of
The problem is, I mean, it's well directed for what it is, and Hanks is great in it, and Aaron Eckhart's great in it, but really, I kind of want a film of this caliber to be spectacular, and it's not. It's kind of just Thursday for all these guys.
Number 2.
Moana.
Which I liked. I didn't love it. I don't think it's up there with Princess and the Frog or Tangled or Frozen. What are you mouthing at me?
Nothing.
What are you mouthing? Come on, cough it up. You're on mic. Cough it up.
Well, I've not seen it, so I can't be a snarky asshole.
Exactly. Well, why don't you go and see it then? Then you
I'm
can
seeing
talk.
it on Saturday when I see Arrival.
Okay, fair enough.
Finally. And then
Fair enough.
Until then, I'll keep my stupid comments in my pocket.
Exactly. Well, I mean, this is the thing. I liked it for what it was. It felt a bit aimless at times. It doesn't feel anywhere near the level of the Disney classic to which we've become accustomed in things like Frozen and things like that. But, I liked it, and the music was good, and I'm not going to, smack talk it. I just wished it was amazing, and it's not amazing. It's just pretty good.
I feel like we're having too much of a good thing.
Exactly. That's it. Disney is spoiling us. That's the problem.
Yeah. Just give us a Home on the Range 2 to just cleanse our palate with
and that's the thing.
rubbish.
This is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame isn't a bad movie. It's just not a Disney classic.
Number 1.
I will defend Hunchback of Notre Dame to my dying breath.
Go for it.
And also, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
You'll defend Fantastic Beasts? Did you see this?
Oh God, no! I will not defend this. It was good. I liked it. But
what was the subtitle you gave this? Put that thing back where it came from. Also
help
help
me.
Well, that's the thing. It's
Essentially,
Goosebumps.
yeah.
Goosebumps in the Harry Potter world, and then you've got the third act seems to come from Philosopher's Stone, and it's fine. Can't really dispute it. Performances are pretty good. Colin Farrell sort of minces his way along. But and then the reveal has been ruined. The big reveal has been ruined by the filmmakers in advance in every interview they've ever given. But other than that, it is a triumphant return to the Harry Potter world. It's one of those films that I think is going to be better viewed as a launching platform than as a film in its own right. And frankly, it doesn't need to be anything more than that.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back and dancing, Mr. Allen. So, give me some news then to take us to our final review of the week.
I will gladly oblige.
What do you got for me?
Well, I told you that I was going to do a twofer with some movie bad guys.
Okay, well, who else you got for me? They're not rebooting Hans Gruber, are they?
Not yet.
Oh, thank God.
Alan Rickman sadly passed away this year. Give it at least 2 years.
Before they reboot Alan Rickman as Miles Teller.
Give it.
Yeah, I think that'll totally happen.
Oh, no. Right, so Ocean's 8 is coming out next year.
Ooh,
yes. Currently filming. They've got a villain.
So this is the girls' Oceans movie?
Yes, this is the ladies' Oceans.
So this is what Twitter's going to be annoyed about for the next... Twitter's going to be annoyed about this next 2 years.
This is going to be the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. So when they...
Even though it sounds great.
So it's going to be like hashtag not my oceans.
Even the fact that the oceans that they're like isn't even the original ocean. So damn trolls.
So who is our Ocean's 8 villain then?
The Ginger Bond, who isn't Bond.
The Ginger Bond who isn't Bond?
Yeah, Damian Lewis.
Damian Lewis?
Yeah.
That classy soul.
He is
like
indeed a
bit Damian
classy
Lewis.
man, isn't he?
Well, I think of who's the Homeland
good
cameo character? Is it Nicholas Brody, I want to say, in Homeland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Damian Lewis.
As do I. I'd be fine with him being Bond. I feel like he's a little bit too old now. I feel like he could have been. Yeah, but this is good casting. Apparently he's going to be Sandra Bullock's ex-boyfriend, ex-lover, ex-whatever.
And also then Mark, presumably.
And then Mark. He is the target.
He's the new Andy Garcia.
He's the new Andy Garcia.
Fair. I like that. That's got some potential.
Do you know, I've never seen the third of the rebooted Oceans.
Oh, well, that
apparently
was
Andy Garcia. Is he sort of part of the crew?
Part of the crew, yeah, because he's trying to take on a rival casino owner who's Al Pacino. Who's a character called Willie Bank, and his catchphrase is "Take it to the bank," and it's a whole thing.
Does he say "who are" at any point?
No, I think it's like he's asleep the whole time, and they just sort of don't really acknowledge the fact.
Yeah.
But
there is a Chinese restaurant near my house that is called Hua. And every time I see it, in my head, I've got like an Al Pacino monologue. It's like,
we choked on my coffee then. Well, okay, so let's go on to our final review of the week then.
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation, which is the feature directorial debut of Nate Parker. Who said Nat Turner? Right, Nate Parker plays Nat Turner. Right, this gets a little confusing at times. Right, this is a passion project for him. He has co-written this. He has co-financed this. He has produced this. He has directed it. He is starring in it. And I'm pretty sure he wrote the theme tune, sang the theme tune. In fact, isn't there one? Isn't there some famous R&B singer who's done?
I don't know. I'll look that up, actually.
I'm sure there is. Like, some R&B singer has actually done a theme song for this.
Are you thinking like a Selma, John Legend?
I'm thinking like Nas or John Legend or someone.
Oh, Nas would be great.
It's always Nas. It's always Nas. Nas did the Usain Bolt one recently.
Time is Illmatic, man. Time is Illmatic.
It's never Wyclef anymore, at least. Thank God for that.
The Perfect Gentleman.
Right, okay.
Why do I know so much about rap?
I don't know. You are the whitest person I know.
I know.
Right, so this is the story of Nat Turner, who famous figure who led a near 48-hour insurgency in pre-Civil War America. And basically, he led a movement that, in fact, I'm getting ahead of myself. He is a slave who basically becomes the preacher to all of his fellow slaves. When it is discovered that a growing sentiment is emerging amongst all the local slaves in the community, basically, his owner, who's played by Armie Hammer, is enticed with money to take him around and use his preaching services to basically quell this growing hostility. And the idea is that as he's going around, he's doing these sermons, he's seeing more and more of the injustice that's being exacted upon him and his people. And he is then inspired to lead what will become this 48-hour insurgency and cause a lot of dead people. And here is a clip of pretty much his first response having started this killing spree.
Mom. Oh, Lord, I slept too late.
Mama, you won't have to work today. You're free. The battle's begun, Mom. Simon gonna take you to Reese's. Now I need you to take care of Cherry and Joanna until I get back, you hear? What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm proud of you.
Right, so Nate Parker there as Nat Turner. And right, first and foremost, this is an astonishing debut. Genuinely, I can see where the very early buzz came from. You can see it; it's there. This is because it plays like a pre-Civil War Braveheart. Is basically the way to kind of sell this. And we consider we had Free State of Jones recently, which was kind of a flop. And this is, I would argue, that it sort of corrects some of the issues with Free State of Jones. However, it is a little too Hollywood at times. It is a little bit too weirdly glossy. It has Jackie Earle Haley in his 19th role to date as racist white man, which
racist white man number 19.
Yeah, exactly. You know that meme that goes around about the actor from Fast and Furious? It says, "Why does he always play a character named Hector?" You could do that with Jackie Earle Haley, where he literally his IMDb profile is just the same role over and over. Racist white man number 3, and the performances are great. His direction is tight. It is fantastic. He manages to make his battle, it's made on the cheap. He manages to make his small, stripped down battle scenes actually quite effective. The story, because it's not something that you hear widely, is fascinating. It is gripping. It is the kind of story where you can tell what effect this had on American history. It's a genuinely fascinating time. I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to at all. But lo and behold, here we are. I'm fascinated that this came out of what is effectively a bit part actor that Nate Parker managed to produce.
Yeah, I've only seen him in a handful of things. Was he in Red Tails?
He was, but he was basically his highest profile role was as the man who shared Lupita Nyong'o's haircut in Nonstop.
Yeah,
yeah.
He was Peter Nyong'o.
Yeah, he was
which
Peter
is generally what her brother is called in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's Lupita and Peter Nyong'o.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
and
that's brilliant.
Also, a side note, it's not Nyong'o, it's Inyong'o.
Inyong'o.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there's another sister called Anita.
Oh my god, that'd be adorable. That'd be great,
aren't they? Right. So no, I really enjoyed it. I think if it's a kind of film, you can cynically dismiss it as a few months a slave. If you really want to be, you know what I mean? You had 12 years a slave. This is a few months a slave. And by that, I mean, it's not quite as this grand, sweeping Oscar thing as 12 years a slave.
No, but of course, because of the subject material, it was compared to it.
Of course. Now, I think that's an unfair comparison because this is very much more of a Braveheart story. And wow, hats off to it. Really enjoyed it. It's not our film of the week, though, Mr. Allen. Our film of the week, instead, I'm going to give to I Am Not a Serial Killer, which I think everyone should see. It's phenomenal. It's really something.
It's good to see Christopher Lee in that kind of...
Christopher Lloyd.
It'd be great to see Christopher Lee,
It'd be great to see Christopher Lee.
He died, sadly.
But next week, some fun stuff. Next week, we've got A Monster Calls, which that's had some hype. And we're not ending there with the monsters, though. We also have monster trucks next week. So we've got a Monster Calls.
I thought that was delayed.
Monster Trucks is next week. It's happening. It's yeah. We've also got
just release it.
Yeah, we've also got the animated story Ballerina. We've got Operation Chromite, which is the World War II thing with Liam Neeson. We've got The Eagle Huntress, which is a documentary narrated by Daisy Ridley, and we've got Through the Wall as well. But of course, we've got a few other films: Crash and Burn, which is the racing documentary, Uncle Howard and the Son of Joseph. But of course, there's only one film that everyone's going to be talking about next week, and I think we all know what that is. We are returning to the Wars of the Stars, and we are headed to Rogue One. So, which of course
never heard of it.
You and I are very much looking forward to. So
we might be seeing it before it's out.
We might be going to see it early. Yeah. So we've got all those to look forward to when we return. This has been a Candy Store production for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I've been Kase Allen,
and we'll be back next week.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
Podcast extras then, Mr. Allen. So this is your time to shine, baby. This is all you. We goff me, Mr. Allen.
Shine
Take
bright
it away.
like a diamond, or Rihanna.
Shine bright like a diamond, you saucy Barbadian minx.
That's it. We do often get called that. We're always being compared to each other.
I always forget that she's in Ocean's 8, that she's one of the Ocean's 8 girls.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
So weird, isn't it?
Because you forget that... Well, I was going to say she's an actress, but...
No, I've seen Battleship. I think
exactly.
She forgot she was an actress as well.
She was like, just stand here with a gun. Look great. Cool. Awesome. Cheers, Peter Berg. Cheers. Great work.
She's awful. Mind you, nobody's good in that movie. It is so awful.
No, that film could have been fun. It's just... I feel like if you gave that to Miller and Lord... If you said to, like, in the way that you said
totally.
to make a film out of the Lego.
Make it sound like they had some Lego blocks and said, we're going to build a film.
Yeah, I'm that guy that says the Facebook.
Are you that guy?
I'm
the
that guy.
Facebook.
The Twitter. The YouTube.
So go on then, what's happening in the world of cine?
Right, this happened today, and this kind of took me by surprise.
Okay, go on.
So, there's going to be a remake of Little Shop of Horrors.
There is.
That did not take me by surprise.
That didn't really, no.
No, it's just because it's been so long that version that I love.
Years?
It's something like
it's
that.
30 years this year, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
1986.
Where is my re-release?
Where is Rick Moranis? Someone get him back, man.
Good point, yeah. Making country music. Generally, what he does.
I did not know that.
Country albums, but yeah, it has been a while, obviously. So that was well overdue for.
So it's coming back. Who's bringing us this comeback?
Greg Berlanti.
Greg Berlanti.
Does that name mean anything to you?
Greg, move your head. That's why it rings a bell. That's why I know,
Exactly.
because every episode of Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow ends with Greg, move your head.
Yeah, he is.
It's the new Gur Arg.
He is. It is absolutely
New Gur Arg.
He is the captain of the good ship Belanti.
Yeah,
of the Flowerverse.
So he is basically the guy who has done what Zack Snyder can't and made coherent entertainment out of DC characters.
He's the Kevin Feige.
Yeah, he is the Kevin Feige of
He's-
DC
yeah,
TV
DC
stuff.
TV, absolutely.
He's the reason the Flash rocks hard.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it so does, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm halfway
man.
through the 4-way crossover.
Oh, I'm watching that tonight in its entirety. Yeah.
Fantastic. But that kind of took me by surprise.
Yeah, me too.
Not only because I thought he was just going to be on the sort of the more
Isn't
TV side,
he's
but he was
also
supposed to be doing
attached
the
to
Booster Gold,
Gold, yeah.
which is being written by Zach Stentz, who has done a couple of episodes
Couple
of
of
Flash.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm fine with that. I love the Little Shop,
The Flowerverse and Little Shop, so
Yeah,
it seems like a
so-
perfect fusion for you.
That's cool. And I'm not sure if he's done musicals and stuff before, and I hope this is a musical. I hope we're not redoing it.
Can I just
Not
point
a
out
musical.
that this year is going to have a musical crossover episode of Supergirl and The Flash, so...
See, I've heard that, but is that definitely going to be this season?
Apparently it is, so...
I want to so bad.
Really?
Because- yeah.
Well, apparently the guy who plays Joe West can sing and dance, and so can Tom Cavanaugh.
You need to see Rent.
I don't need to see it. I've seen like 5 minutes of the movie, and I never need to see any more.
With those 5 minutes, Jesse L. Martin crooning like no one has ever crooned before.
Okay, I tell you what, I'll try watching the movie. How about I watch the movie?
Just listen to him sing.
I'll watch the movie, and that'll be that. All right.
Yeah, he is the best part.
I need to readjust my musical barometer because I've got La La Land coming up.
Yeah, you do.
And so I need to adjust it.
I feel like we could have fights about La La Land.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I watched an interview with John Legend on the Daily Show earlier.
Right, yeah.
So talking about
There's of course
La La
some
Land.
music, and he plays a guitarist in the film.
Oh, does he?
as
Yeah.
well. He does
Oh,
indeed.
yeah, because Damien Chazelle doesn't shy away from having
Yeah,
musicians.
he plays
in
a
his films.
character that's got the unsexiest male name ever.
Keith.
Yes.
Is it really Keith?
It's Keith.
Bloody hell.
See, that's how unsexy that name is.
Well, Family Guy popularised that.
Yeah, Keith. Yeah, so that's that news. Pretty damn exciting.
I'm kind of whatever about that.
Here is something else.
Go on.
So, Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah,
The Jonathan
do know
Depps.
this. Go on.
He's topped at Forbes' overpriced actors list for the second time running.
Wow.
This used to be where Adam Sandler sort of reigned supreme.
He did,
Adam
didn't
Sandler
he?
was
Yeah.
number one for 4 years, I think.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
Johnny Depp. So the overprice, it's when obviously they're getting
you
paid
look
so
at-
much money for flops. Essentially.
Well, a lot of that is going to be down to, for instance, Alice Through the Looking Glass, in which he
lot
got
of
paid a
that.
shed load for a movie that made very little.
Yeah.
I mean, last
Mid-bunk.
year he came off of some real clunkers. Last year he came off like not Maleficent, Mordecai.
And the year before that was that Transcendence.
That was Transcendence the year before that. And
Yeah,
wow, I mean,
yeah.
he has starred in some turkeys.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
you know
quietly
why?
optimistic about Pirates.
But you know what the problem is with Johnny Depp? And no one likes to say it. Johnny Depp is not a name above the title star. Johnny Depp is a franchise star. Johnny Depp cannot function outside of a certified franchise, which is why we are going to keep getting Pirates of the Caribbean movies until he is dead. That is absolutely
And then
gonna
after,
happen.
just with the use of CGI.
Well, this is the thing. This is why he's joined Harry Potter, I think, because it's a certified franchise. He is the ultimate added value.
I see where you're coming at, but I don't fully support it. Surprisingly enough.
Incidentally, can I just point out, this month, Netflix UK gets a film. I think it's happening mid-month. They get my favourite Johnny Depp film, finally, on UK Netflix. And I don't know if you've ever seen this. It's the movie Nick of Time.
No, I have not.
It is a 1994-95 real-time action thriller
I've got it up.
starring Christopher Walken as the villain.
Oh, I've seen the poster
Right?
for that.
This
Yeah.
basically formed the basis of what would become 24. He has 90 minutes of real time in order to assassinate someone to get his daughter back. That is the movie, and it is great. It is one of my favourite Johnny Depp movies. It is about as Hollywood as he got back then. And
I'm
it
going
was
to have
great.
to give that a watch. I mean, some of my favourite ones, obviously, Fear and Loathing and Edward Scissorhands,
liked
What's
Edward.
Eating Gilbert Grape. Yeah, so that's where I kind of wouldn't fully agree. But then again, I would also call his partnership with Tim Burton something of a franchise.
Really?
Yeah. I'm trying to support your point here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but other folks on the list, Will Smith is number 2.
Well, he is.
Channing Tatum is number 3.
Channing Tatum?
I can't think what
What's
he was in,
what's
but
he sucked in?
what was a flop?
What's he done that's been a flop? I can't think for life of me.
But after him, Will Ferrell, George Clooney, as I'm calling him, Adam Sandler, Sandman.
Sad that the Cloontang's made the list.
The Cloontang.
Sad that he's made the list, man.
Oh, ran out of top 5, but yeah. Sandler, Marky Mark, Leo.
Leo?
Yeah.
He's not had a blood diamond this year.
He's not had a blood Which just sounds like a really horrible euphemism
He's
for
not had a body of lies this year.
Blood diamond sounds like a bad euphemism for... yeah,
it really does.
Like a yeah.
It really does.
Leo, Julie Roberts, Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, Mother's Day,
got to be.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Bradley Cooper.
Oh, Aloha.
Oh, of course.
That'll be Aloha. Totally.
I wonder what it is for Leo. Maybe that's like it's relative on how much he took rather than how much they lost.
Maybe The Revenant didn't make that much actual money. It didn't need to, did it? It was an Oscar film.
It was an Oscar film.
It wasn't a blockbuster. It was an Oscar winner.
It made it all in its Oscar campaign parties.
Yeah, which is fair. Can I talk then about the past real quick?
Why not?
Right. Okay. So this is an interesting one. This was a play. This was something like a 33-day play, and it was took place in the Royal Theatre upstairs or whatever it was called.
Oh,
right. It is the I think it's John Donnelly who's written the play. He's also written the film, and Ben Williams has directed it. It is, and it's unashamed about being a play. Remember how Steve Jobs worked? Right, it was that was like a 3-act play on screen. This is again a 3-act play on screen. They're not really shy about it. These 3 acts take place 5 years apart. So it starts in 2006, jumps forward to 2011 and then 2016. And what you've got are, in the beginning, you've got 2 19-year-old footballers, up-and-coming footballers. They are kind of the next level. You know, they've gone through the football academy. They're 19 years old. They're ready for their shot at the big time. And the night before their first big game, they were in a hotel room, both a little wired, both can't sleep. And they can't sleep. One of them kisses the other. And this sets in motion a series of interpersonal events that are going to cut through the next decade and affect the lives of both of them. And you've got, what's his name? Azine Kane, I think his name is, and Russell Tovey are the 2 footballers. And do you know what? We have a clip. I'll just give you a clip real quick. And this is on that night in 2006 when they are 19 years old.
How many houses you got again? He's a builder. That's what he does. Yeah, my dad's too busy with his sermons.
Well, it came to that thing you was in for your drama exam.
Raw. I forgot you come to that.
Yeah, well, you were good in that. Yeah, what was that thing you did where you had that red material you pulled and then...
That was abstract movement. Yeah, that represent... What are you laughing at?
No, I'm just remembering. It was... No, it was good.
Arinze Kine, plays the other one. Russell Tovey obviously is the big star here, and Arinze Kine is the only actor who is new to it. The rest of them have all come from the stage version and are sort of carrying through to this. And with Russell Tovey, it really shows how he's incredibly invested in this character. Now, because you've got the 3 acts that are 5 years apart in each case, you get to go through the full gambit of the range of these characters. They really do evolve, and they evolve. The performances as well evolve with them. The performances really do show that difference in age, and it's tremendous. Ben Williams has managed to make because it largely takes place in hotel rooms, but all three of those scenes do take place in different hotel rooms, and he's used the space quite effectively. He's managed to make it quite a claustrophobic character drama. You don't really think about the fact that it's a stage play, other than the fact that it's basic 3-act structure. The performances are great. The writing is sharp. I would argue it falls slightly apart in the 3rd act with the inclusion of a character who just completely takes you out of the scene, and that's Nico Miralago, I think his name is Miralagro, as the sort of hotel employee who joins him. He played Newt in Hollyoaks, which is where I recognised him from. That's genuinely where I'm like.
I've not seen Hollyoaks enough to remember any.
I'm well versed in the Roxanne McKee era of Hollyoaks.
In the Hollyoaks lore.
Yeah, let's just put it this way: the Roxanne McKee, Elise de Troyes era of Hollyoaks, I'm more than schooled in. But both.
How can one man remember such crap?
Russell Tovey and Arinze Kine, I think, are both absolutely terrific in this, and it is tense, it is raw, it is unflinching character drama. It deals quite brilliantly and quite insightfully with the idea of sexuality in professional football, which is something you don't really hear about. And I thought, okay, that's kind of an interesting way to look at it, because you couldn't tell this story in any other professional environment other than football. Which is, you know what I mean? I think it was Alan Frank that asked me, couldn't you have done this in rugby? I went, no, because rugby's quite progressive. No, you couldn't have done that. Football is the only sport you could have done this in. You couldn't even have done this in the NFL, because even that's more progressive than professional football. But, really loved it. Really thought it was great. I genuinely thought it
does sound good. I will
impressive.
probably check it out at some point when it comes
It is stripped down 88-minute character drama.
Okay.
And each one of these 3 scenes is about 28 minutes thereabouts. It really works. It really does work. And I was blown away by how much I liked it, actually.
Yeah, sounds good.
But so over to you, Mr. Allen.
Have you heard of a film that's going to be coming out next year called Coco?
Oh, is this the Pixar thing that's been in development for like donkey's years?
Well, all Pixar films are in development for donkey's years, but yeah, this is one of the next ones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is coming out next year with Cars 3. Cars 3 comes out first.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
have we got another good dinosaur Inside Out scenario going on here?
Well, looking at it a positive way, we'll get 2 Pixar films.
We did that last time though. One of them was The Good Dinosaur. So
yeah, but it's better than. Yeah. It's better than your average DreamWorks.
Better than your average bear. Yeah, that's true.
Better than Shark Tale.
Anything's better than Shark Tale, let's be honest. Which needed a Will Smith theme song. Let's be honest.
He did. And do you know what we got? We got Missy Elliott, Christina Aguilera doing Car Wash. That film tanked.
Yay.
Yeah. But anyway, Coco. So some names have been attached finally. We know who's going to play some people.
Oh, I know one of them.
Who is it?
Is that Benjamin Bratt? Is Benjamin Bratt one of them?
Okay, it is indeed. Good. Who's going to be playing a singer, a vocalist, some like famous dude who has died.
Oh, he will totally pull
And Gael Garcia Bernal, who is my favourite celebrity name to say. He's also going to be in it. So, the story details have been released, or at least some of the story details. So it's going to be about a 12-year-old boy named...
Coco?
Named Miguel.
Miguel,
It doesn't actually say who Coco is.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Pretty intriguing. Named Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be a musician. His idol is Benjamin Bratt, the character that has passed away.
Yeah.
And, he wants to be a fantastic musician like this guy. It leads to a turn of events where he goes into the underworld.
Ooh.
And
this is sounding a bit Book of Life.
A little bit.
It is.
And even more so because, David Ed.
Yeah, so is Lin-Manuel Miranda attached to this one, or has he skipped
Not
this
yet,
one?
I think he's skipped this one. He's got other Disney projects.
Because there's only so many Hispanic-themed animated movies, and so many South American animated movies. That,
but he's not been attached to any...
Other than Moana.
Which is Polynesian.
Well, Polynesia. It's that end of the globe.
You're just lumping all the ethnicities together.
I feel bad now. I feel bad. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I'm always happy when there's new original Pixar.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll still go see Cars 3. I'll go see Cars 3 based on that trailer.
Is this Lee
Dark
Unker?
Knight trailer.
Is this Lee Unker did Toy Story 3?
Lee Unkrich.
Unkrich? Is that what you say? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, who he directed Toy Story 3.
Yeah, he did.
I think he co-directed Toy Story 2 as well. Oh. But he's part of the Brain Trust.
Oh, yeah.
There's like your big names. So there's him, there's Pete Docter, what's his name? Brad Bird. Those guys. Those guys, yeah.
Can I take a minute then to tear Jet Trash to pieces?
Do it.
Right, okay, so Jet Trash, which is this sort of very millennial straight-to-DVD movie.
It sounds like an insult.
I say millennial in the sense that it seems to be aimed at millennials and is a film that should have come out around the millennium.
I get really off when I'm called a millennial. Although I feel like
I'm a millennial?
I'm like a poster child for millennial. Apparently,
well, I mean, you're more of a millennial hipster than anything else. But
that's the other one. That's the other one I hate.
What, hipster?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You bring that on yourself, Alan.
I don't look good any other way, and I barely look good like this.
Well, you know the whole trendy glasses, beard, flannel shirt thing works for you, so keep it going. Right, so this is the kind of thing that would have been. Do you remember post Guy Ritchie, when Guy Ritchie first burst on the scene with the double header of Lock, Stock and Snatch? And then
better times.
But then we had this wave of imitators that just got consigned to the $2.99 in a local petrol station bin. And this was in a time when DVD hadn't really devalued that much, when DVD was still a premium format, and we still wound up early on with $2.99 releases. This is one of those films that kind of caused that. It is the story of two sort of young millennials who sort of got in with the wrong crowd, Lee and Sol. Lee is played by Robert Sheehan. Sol is Ozzy Ikile. And basically, they've crossed the wrong crime lord and had to go on the run to southern India. The film takes place at Christmas, so it's all, it's nice South Indian beaches with this almost hippily ironic Christmas soundtrack. Basically, their quiet life of, dealing of low-level drug dealing to make ends meet is interrupted when Sophia Boutella turns up one day, and she's Robert Sheehan's ex-girlfriend, and her being there basically means they've been found. And then there's a dead cow that comes into the mix as well. One of them accidentally kills a cow, and it's India, so they're going to have to go on the run.
Right.
And they've crossed another local crime lord, who happens to be the guy that sells them the drugs, and they've gotten on the wrong side of the police as well. And then in the meanwhile, there is the original crime lord who turns up looking for them, and then they've got a flatmate who I think is a German guy who's meant to be like a former soldier who's gone buddies, but he's actually going out of his mind. And by the end, we don't have a clip for this, so I'm just going to keep rambling because frankly this is a load of tosh. It is. Yeah, it is, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those, you just look at it, you think, I know you're trying to be stylish, but you're trying to be stylish without any enthusiasm or energy. It's directed by Charles Henry Belville, who's no work I'm not overly familiar with. Let me pull that up for you now. It's just unengaging. It's got this bleached out aesthetic. Oh, The Inheritance. He was the director of The Inheritance a few years back. It's got this bleached out aesthetic. It's co-written by Dan M. Brown and Simon Lewis. It's based on Simon Lewis's book Go, which is not to be confused with the infinitely better 1998 US indie Doug Liman movie Go.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Which, incidentally, I would rather watch 1,000 times than this once. And that's the thing, the whole film just reminded me that there was a film called Go that I'd rather be watching. I was bored to tears. Sophia Boutella just cannot be arsed in this film. Robert Sheehan seems more interested in chewing gum, and I mean that because there's not a single solitary moment in this film in which he's not slapping away with a chewing gum. And as for Ozzy Akile, you just think, you're playing the voice of reason, but it would be nice if they gave you anything to do at any point. Frankly, by the end of the film, I was bored to tears. I felt like I had just been consigned to the bargain DVD bin in 2001. That's what this felt like, and this really does blow me. This is such a lazy and uninvolved effort that, frankly, I couldn't be bothered. I can't be bothered to give it a proper review because they can't bother to make proper film. So,
film news,
please.
Take this with a pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt, okay.
Because Vin Diesel.
Okay, go on.
So Vin Diesel, he says one day in the future,
we
will be. You know him.
I know. Go on.
Our eyes will be treated to a Rocket and Groot standalone movie.
Yeah, right.
In the MCU.
Okay.
And potentially in that film, or in another future Vin Diesel-directed Marvel film, we're going to see a Hulk versus Groot battle. I'm all for it, obviously. I've got a pulse. I love Marvel films.
Is this not what...
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
What Thor Ragnarok would be great for in terms of crossing over the Guardians characters?
Yeah, like... In Ragnarok, we are allegedly going to see the Hulk do battle with different beings.
We're going to
essentially going to have some Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
So that could be where the Groot is just there. But then I guess you would have to tie in the end of Guardians. James Gunn said that Guardians 2 is essentially going to be a standalone.
Yeah.
Well, as much as you can be a standalone nowadays.
Well, the weird thing is, we don't actually know at what point in the continuity Guardians of the Galaxy or its sequel take place. Because
that's for
all we know, Guardians of the Galaxy could take place during the events of Incredible Hulk, or it could take place during the events of Age of Ultron.
That's the thing with the MCU.
We don't know with Guardians.
Because, just with all the films, chronological order is a little bit...
No, the Earthbound ones, there is a continuity to them.
Because isn't Doctor Strange meant to be before...
The early scenes of Doctor Strange reference the events of Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Or they that's unfair. They reference events that we see archival footage of in Iron Man 2. So
when the MCU is said and done, when it's all finished, which we'll probably be long dead.
Yeah, we'll be
absolutely.
Dead, yeah.
We're talking like 120 years.
Exactly.
We'll be able to watch all the films in the order that they are supposed to be.
It'll be in order. Yeah.
It'll be a different.
I think how it works. The way to remember it is Age of Ultron does set up the actual timeline brilliantly, because Age of Ultron points out that it takes place in 2016 and that Iron Man took place in 2008.
Right.
It's Paul Bettany explains, in the 8 years since you declared yourself to be Iron Man. And we know that took place in 2008, so yeah.
There we are.
So there you go, yeah. Yes. But we're never seeing a standalone Cruton Rocket movie. Shut up, Vin. He does this all the time.
He just likes to talk, doesn't he, bless him?
Oh, I mean, it took him nearly a decade to get Last Witch Hunter off the ground.
That's true.
Then you watch the film, you're like, really? You put that much time and effort into a supernatural
I've still not seen that. I will, as a player. I will
it's
watch it.
Trashy, goofy fun.
Okay, let's have a few more pieces and then one more review. So... we just spoke about the Oscars. Jimmy Kimmel's going to be hosting the Oscars. Yeah. The shortlist for the documentary, for the long-form documentary.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not going to say more because it's like 13, 15
Give me some
names.
good ones. Come on.
These are sort of like your big heavy hitters. These ones that are probably going to be winning.
Yeah.
Wiener.
Yeah.
Which...
the Anthony Weiner one. Okay, not Wiener Dog, so...
Not Wiener. Because that was a documentary. And if it was... weird documentary. Okay. Weird film. OJ Made in America, which I have seen. It's really good.
Isn't that a TV series, though, isn't it?
Yeah, two different things. Obviously about O.J. Simpson, but yeah, this is the doc. And in the best segue I've ever done in my life, Life Animated.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, so can I talk about Life Animated now?
Tell me about it.
Right. Okay. First and foremost, Life Animated. If it does get brought up for the Oscars, in terms of nominations, I wouldn't be surprised. But it will never win.
It's on the shortlist.
It will never win.
Right.
I don't think it's material that will win. Right. Okay. So it's the story of Owen Suskind, who is a young boy who at a very early age, as tends to be the case, as he becomes a toddler, he starts to shut down on a communication level. His parents discover he actually has autism, and he remains silent for many years. One day, his parents discover, as if by chance, a way to get through to him. Yeah. And it turns out that way is through Disney movies. If you throw a line from a Disney film at him, he will throw you one back. He will throw you the next line back. And he uses this mechanism as a way to basically move out into the world, as a way to discover the world and learn. As he puts it at one point, he learns to read from the end credits of Disney movies. So Disney becomes his whole life. We have a clip, and this is his establishment of a Disney club.
I started a Disney club so I can get to know more people and they can be around me, so I can be more popular. Shannon? It worked. Tonight we're watching some of The Lion King because this year's the big 20th anniversary of the original release of The Lion King. Yeah, sure. Shall we?
Not only am I a big Disney fanatic, but I also like to play magical movie scores on this piano.
We watch parts of Disney animated films and discuss them and see what they're really about in our lives.
Right, I wound up seeing this twice, and I don't regret that I did. The first time I saw it, I was in floods of tears.
Did you cry?
It broke me as a person. I was a broken shell of a man. First of all, I mean, it's based on his father Ron's book. It's directed by Roger Ross Williams. A few documentaries, none immediately leap to mind, to be honest. But it's got this wonderful style of animation that it keeps going back to. They use Owen's own narration and they animate it for him. So the stories of what he was going through as a child are actually animated in a Disney style by the artist Mac Guff, which if you say too quick is McGuff. But and it's a beautiful film to behold. Now, the animation might be why that's gaining Oscar attention, to be honest. That's a huge part of it. The film, if it has a fault, it's that it relies too much on Disney archival footage and thus risks playing too much on your nostalgia rather than the film it is in its own right. As a subject, Owen Suskind is absolutely fascinating. He is an adorable person. And I mean, you will genuinely fall in love with this guy. He's about 20, I think he's 22, 23 at some point. The film chronicles his move from his finishing high school to him moving out on his own for the first time into what's basically assisted living. He gets his first apartment and he gets to experience life for the first sort of time free of his parents. There's some very touching stuff in there. They talk to his brother, for instance, about, the inevitability of what happens when his parents, reach old age, when they pass away and he's left with him. And there's humorous things like his exploring relationships, him getting his first girlfriend and his brother having to deal with how do you tell him about sex, because the Disney movies don't really cover that. The Disney movies kind of just stop at one solitary kiss, no movement, no tongue, that's it. I've tried talking to him, it doesn't go down well. It is a fascinating movie. It will tug at the heartstrings like you won't believe. It's got 2 Disney cameos that will blow your mind. I mean, I've just told you one of them, admittedly. It's got 2 absolutely brilliant cameos in there. And I absolutely felt like it's a hook, line, and sinker for it. I thought it was a genuinely beautiful film. And that's it. I would say it is going to become something. I think it's going to become very much a water cooler documentary, as well as a moment of significance within the discussion of autism, the mainstream discussion of autism, which is something that in the last sort of decade or so has become a lot more of a thing. It's less of a stigma. There's a lot more discussion about autism, and I feel like we as a culture we've learnt a lot in the last decade that we didn't really, in terms of the mainstream stuff, do before. This film, I think, is going to become a brilliant part of that, and I'm fascinated by it. But,
it does sound great. I'm definitely going to see it before the Oscars. Hopefully it's going to be on the shortlist.
It is effectively, it's a Disney-powered autism documentary. And it's the kind of, it lends itself so brilliant to the kind of thing Disney is so good at.
Yeah.
But even though they're not really that involved, there's nothing to do with Disney. It's incidental.
Yeah.
He could be into Looney Tunes for all we know. Yeah. But, that's it. So.
Right, we're finally getting that Blade Runner sequel.
Oh, God, yeah, we are. Blade Runner 2049.
2049. Yeah. Which, I feel like that could be a misguided title.
What year was the first Blade Runner?
You might think that is the 2049 sequel to Blade Runner.
Yeah, it is.
Which was
true.
like, that was the classic joke looking at it.
Was it 2019, the first Blade Runner? It tells you at the very beginning, Los Angeles.
I believe so, yeah.
Is it 2019 or 2029? I can never remember. Something like that, yeah.
So, obviously, in that film, it's kind of a little bit ambiguous whether Rick Deckard is indeed a replicant or not.
Yeah, and even Harrison Ford has said, no, you're reading too much into it.
That's it. We thought we were going to be getting some closure with a new one. Well, we're not.
Okay.
The director, Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Our boy. He says that he's not going to answer whether Deckard is a replicant or not. So
fair enough.
Keep on dreaming.
Keep dreaming. It's not happening. You're not getting your conclusions.
That's it. Another couple of pieces. Of course, Adam Driver confirms that the man who killed Don Quixote is delayed.
Oh, God.
Because... Just make it already.
Oh, just do it in animated form, Terry. Come on.
I know.
Just do it in animated form.
He's going to die before it. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think this is gonna be like you remember how Stanley Kubrick had AI, and he passed away and Spielberg had to take it over.
Yeah.
This is gonna happen. This is gonna outlive Terry Gilliam, and then Spike Jonze is just gonna take it on or something.
Yeah, and finally, this is my last piece. You really enjoyed it, so I've not seen it yet. I really want to see it. We're going, of course, we're getting an English language remake of Train to Busan.
Yes, it's going to be made by Gaumont, the French film company, isn't it? But they're going to produce it. It's going to be an English language film, though. Yeah. It's going to be filmed and set in LA. And yay. Happy about that.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson will be announced
of course,
any moment.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson will be in there. But of course, Dwayne The Rock Johnson does not end our average show.
No, he does not.
He does not. In which case, here it is.
Your moment of Nicolas Cage.
So let me ask you something. Do you think I look like Humphrey Bogart?
No.
Well, you see, that's interesting because I'm a big film buff. Bogart was the best, the king. When I was in the joint, there was a movie producer who was in there with me, and I says to him, do you think I look like Humphrey Bogart? And he says, well, yeah, you do, but a stretched out version of him.
It's a fantastic story.